finally getting this done.
Yay!
Yay! Sorry for the delay. We're all tired. Except you actually have more energy, I think, than both of us combined right now.
Which is funny because I didn't get a wink of sleep last night.
Good for you, apparently. Natural energy. Lots of coffee? Maybe.
I actually don't drink coffee. It makes me jumpy. If I had had coffee, I'd be bouncing off the walls right now.
Good to know. All right. So this is our best of 2017 list. You missed out on pretty much all the good stuff a while back, so...
Yeah, because that's when I had it's just a lot of work and wedding prep.
Yeah, which is fine. Which is fine.
Sister-in-law.
You have seen more good movies than I have.
Yes.
So...
and I saw movies that were not reviewed on this channel. If I was just making my own list, there would be more documentaries and more independent films on it. And, films like Call Me By Your Name, which I just saw this past week. But the restrictions are, it had to have been reviewed on Venom and Carnage in the year 2017, which in my opinion, there were still a fair amount of good movies this past year.
I only have so much time to watch movies now. So anyways, this is mostly going to be me and Sarah going over the list, and Grant, you could just chime in with whatever comments you have here and there. But otherwise, I feel like I need to make you look happy, you look sad.
I'm just tired.
Alright. Before we get going though, I do have a couple honorable mentions that I wanted to put on this list. I just didn't have enough room for them. And I didn't want to make it like top 15 because I feel like that's cheating. So I do want to give shout out to the Lego Batman movie.
Yes, that was going to be an honorable
that was probably going to be on my list.
For me too.
I really liked, but I as one as I was sitting there, it's like just not quite there. But no, that was really fun. One of the better anime movies of this year.
Easily, although this was a bad year for animated movies.
Not entirely. We'll get to that.
We had a couple good and a lot of shit.
And a lot of shit.
Yes.
Okay. It's no leap, I'll say that much. And Colossal is also an honorable mention for me, which movie I loved. I think it's one of the most original movies of the year. But it was also just objectively, I couldn't get myself to put on the list, even though I really, really wanted to. So yeah, there's that. Sarah, I'll let you go first with your number 10. Take it away.
Okay. Well, this cracks the bottom of my list because it's Spider-Man: Homecoming. It's the Spider-Man movie that I've been wanting for years. I red boxed it and rewatched it recently, and I still enjoy it thoroughly. And I had a great time from start to finish. So.
Yeah, that was one that just barely squeaked off the list.
Yeah, I enjoyed that one. It wasn't my favorite of the comic book movies. I think I would have given it to Thor Ragnarok, preferably just because that felt a little more consistent.
I also would have given it Guardians of the Galaxy too, honestly.
Yeah.
And I thought about having Wonder Woman as an honorable mention because of its cultural significance.
Yeah.
But for me personally, these are just my favorites of the year. They may not be considered the best as far as academic minds go.
Yeah.
But
and it's personal preference. Yeah.
Exactly. So
the Post is not on my list, even though academic the Post or The Darkest Hour, even though I know it's the more academically acceptable top 10 films.
It's kind of like how I will, looking at it, I will say Logan probably was the academically best of the movies, but
Logan's not on my list either.
Yeah, but it's I think I enjoyed Ragnarok the most. Spider-Man was good. It's just like Peter Parker in that movie.
I like Peter Parker.
The jokes didn't always land.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get it.
I gotta think about it for a second.
Okay, remember, they showed him messing up a lot, where he tries to stick the landing and he
face first
into the ground.
I like stuff like that. No, me and everyone on my show were talking about that, and he was like, how'd you like? That was basically a high school comedy superhero. I was like, yeah,
that's what it's supposed to be.
The basic premise was a comic book movie meets a John Hughes movie.
And Michael Keaton's still fucking great in that film.
Absolutely.
Yeah. He definitely gave us one of the better developed villains.
I think so. This was a good year for Marvel villains. I will say that much. Between Hela was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Ego was great, and we had the Vulture, which is also great. So we've been complaining about bad Marvel villains for years. We got 3 good ones. We had 3 good ones.
We're still,
and it's the TV shows that had the crappy villains this year. So go figure how that worked.
It was a really good year for comic book movies, and Spider-Man: Homecoming was the one that I personally had the most fun watching.
Yeah. As long as you were in Justice League.
Not on my worst list. I want to point that out. Not on my worst list. There's a lot worse movies that went on that list before that.
That probably would have been on my list, but that just shows, man, I did not see a lot of terrible movies. Like I said, I saw some really bad ones.
I mean, there's not even if you've seen the show, you know it's gonna be number 1 for my worst list. It's not even a debate.
I'm assuming it's.
Yeah, we don't need to say but yes, it is.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that was my number 10. My number 10 is Lady Bird.
Okay.
Which is a movie I liked, and I still on an objective, I was like, okay, this is a really well-made movie. It's a really movie good about life and just growing up and dealing with the Catholic Church and all that fun stuff. But the mom thing, I mentioned this to you, still bugs the shit out of me.
Yeah, I mean, it's like. I think it's Dr. Jasmine. She'll say the Lady Bird's the pain in the ass.
So that's just, I guess, different perspective right there.
It's like me. It's like I remember the weird things. I had that weird moment of realization, like when after we saw that I was driving home. Mm-hmm. That whole thing's like that weird nostalgia of like the good and bad of life. It just like hit me like, like now I know it got me far.
So Lady Bird, really good movie. Just was like for me, like it's like.
Yeah.
For me, I just didn't love it as much as a lot of people did. But that being said, there is something for everyone in that film still.
Yeah.
It just depends on how much you can tolerate either the Lady Bird character or the mom character. Both of which can be equally annoying in their own rights.
Yeah. And which was obviously kind of the point. It's 2 very strong-willed people who just...
Although I still stand that I think the mom was still borderline abusive. At least emotionally.
No, I've dealt with stuff like, I mean, to a lesser degree with my mom, so it's like, no, that's just a mom being a mom.
No, it's not.
To a certain extent.
No, it's not. No. I respectfully disagree with you on that one. But anyway, that's my number 10. So.
My number 9 is one of your honorable mentions for the reasons that you listed.
Like a bad movie?
Colossal.
Oh, Colossal. Okay, I can talk about this movie now.
Yes, like you mentioned earlier, of the movies that came out in 2017, I feel like it was one of the more original ones.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed Anne Hathaway's performance. Between her performance in this, her performance in Les Mis, and her performance in Rachel Getting Married, she's really good at playing broken characters.
I didn't see Rachel Getting Married. I've seen the other 2.
Which I really enjoy when she kind of goes to those darker depths of fictional characters, and I liked that the story, spoiler alert, didn't have a completely clear-cut happy ending.
Yeah,
per se.
yeah.
And it was clever and interesting and tragic and funny all at the same time. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I think let's send the review to, and what I go on a big long rant about in that review is more. I feel like this movie, more than any other movie I've seen in a long time, really captures the nice guy mental mindset.
Yeah.
Which I don't really see very often, because usually it's always like, oh, he's a nice guy, he should eventually fall in love. And this guy's like, the nice guy isn't always a nice guy because they're nice. The nice guy's sometimes nice because they want to get something from you.
They're trying to be a manipulator.
And they're very good at that manipulation. They get very mad when they don't get their way. And I felt
very controlling.
And I think it's one of my favorite performances from Jason Sudeikis, who really knocks it out of the park in the film. And it's just a great concept.
Yes, it was.
It makes us like
so interesting and original.
Yeah. It makes someone stomping in the middle of a park fucking horrifying.
Yes.
Yeah. I just love that juxtaposition, like hearing the screams from like the other
screams and Anne Hathaway's performance, which must have been the weirdest scene to shoot. It's like he's gonna make some really stumpy noise, and you're gonna look horrified.
Yeah. For me, once again, the spoilers. The only thing that like felt kind of weird was when she just. I was like, I don't know why. I felt a little uncomfortable about that. He was a dick, but
no, like that's something they said. That's why they have him like say this horrible shit at the very end, just because.
You
like,
bitch!
Yeah, like on
Put
some
me
like.
down, you bitch!
Like, why would you say that to a giant monster?
yeah, exactly.
Who's literally looking at you like, I could fucking eat you right now.
Yeah, that too. It's like
So,
and for me, the other issue, which it's a double-edged sword, I'll admit, was it felt a little repetitive at times too. But at the same time,
that was kind of the point.
Yeah, it's like on the one hand, it kind of just it slows down the movie, but like you said, which I also realized, like I said, that is a whole thing. It's like it's meant to be a, repetitive, destructive.
I mean, it's about like self-destructive cycles and addiction and
exactly,
and overcoming that, and
which are repeated behaviors,
and more like how self-destructive people are obviously very open to manipulation, which stronger-willed people will take advantage of, or lesser-willed people, you want to define it. But either way,
I think it just would have been better if they found ways to kind of like or found more diverse ways to show that that cycle.
Like, I don't know. I think the way
that's
is okay for me because again, it does go in a natural, progressive way, and like it repeats itself, but like every version gets a little bit darker until like it builds up to the climax. Honestly, my biggest issue with Colossal, like some of the gigantic plot holes, more like Jason Sudeikis lights a gigantic fuck off firework in the middle of his bar, and you can't call the cops.
Agreed.
Like that's the one thing that bothered me.
That was kind of curious.
And it was like you can easily get him arrested for reckless endangerment, and your problem is completely solved.
Yeah,
easily. Yeah.
So that was the one thing that bothered me. And like, there are other flaws with it too, but I just love the originality. I love the fact that it took it this direction. And again, it's more like this could have easily just been a cheap exploitation film that makes something meaningful, which I really appreciated.
Agreed.
So that was your number 9. My number 9 is Get Out.
Really? That's that low.
I know. Like I had a really hard time organizing this. And like to be fair, this movie came out in February, and the fact that I remember it as well as I do now means that still has a lot of staying power.
Yeah.
And it's definitely, I think, one of the most bold and ambitious films of last year.
Glad I finally watched that one a couple months, I think last month.
And I think it was Ron put it best. That, like when we say watch it, like at all the films I've ever seen, that's the one that's gotten the closest to what everyday life as a black man is like.
Yeah.
So for Stephen, for that, it's like, okay, this is something special, and obviously it's thankfully got a huge cult following now. Like, people are just obsessed with it. It's perfectly executed.
Yeah.
A bit misadvertised, if anything. I think.
Yes. It wasn't marketed properly.
No, it was marketed as a weird horror film, and it was not. Well, it was horrifying.
It was more of a thriller.
Yeah, it was still horrifying, just not as a horror film.
Yeah.
But like I think overall, I think the reason it's kind of lower on my list is just because there's just other films I liked better.
Yeah.
That's really what it comes down to. But culturally, significantly, this is probably what, like, if we're just rating just on that, this is definitely in the top 3 of the year.
I kind of like or found interesting the idea of like how they even touch upon that idea of like stealing culture as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Or stealing, sorry, not culture, identity.
Well, culture too.
Yeah.
Culture too. There's a lot about that too. Or I think what put it, black envy. Which is a real thing.
Yeah.
And the way that dives into that. I mean, Ron said he can write like essays about this film, which I'd be curious if he actually do it.
Yeah. I'd say I liked it a lot. You know me, it's never really scary, but it's definitely creepy and gets under your skin.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's meant to be scary. I think it was just advertised because from an advertised perspective, I don't know how you properly advertise this film without giving everything away.
Also, a lot of people said like the main guy's buddy was supposed to be pretty funny. I just thought he was.
Yeah, like I felt like a Tyler Perry kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like on the one. Thankfully, it's one thing where like I did appreciate. It's like, okay, I'm glad they're allowed him to be black but smart at the same time.
Yes.
Which does lead me to my one last complaint. Once again, a bit of a double-edged sword. I understand what Peele was getting at.
Mm-hmm.
Was the ending.
I like the ending.
Yeah, it's like on the one hand, it's like when I read what the original ending was, I thought that would have been way better.
I thought that would have been too predictable. At the same point, I wanted a happy ending for this guy.
Me too.
So like, I was totally okay with that because I think everyone had the same exact thought.
It's like I was happy that it was a happier ending. At the same time, I feel like it just And like I said, I understand.
And it would have been a little too predictable too, honestly.
And also,
like honestly, the happy ending's the
way
less
too dark.
predictable ending.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I'm not sure. I think it's just for some, it could border on it could borderline like be a not a cop out, but it's like, it feels like it's like, it feels like it was a little bit too much of it was a little bit of an easier way out, I think is a better way to put it.
Like, this is a case where I'm okay with it, because, again, I just, like, it's more like after all the shit that's happened previously, it's like, the poor guy deserved a fucking break.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
he definitely did. I'm not denying that.
So it's more like, I'll take a happier ending over just pure, like, all that shit just for tragedy. It's like, that would have been a little too much for me, I think. That's my personal opinion. So, Sarah, you're number 8.
My number 8 is Baby Driver.
It is also mine. So that works out. I'm not gonna lie, I had some trepidations I would put this one on the list.
I wouldn't.
I know.
I don't give two shits about Spacey. He's an asshole. But I like this movie.
I really like this movie too. If the controversy with Spacey hadn't happened, and may have ended up higher.
Yeah, probably.
But it's for me at number 8 because I'm an audiophile and I love the soundtrack. I love the editing. I'm glad that Edgar Wright finally got some much deserved attention. The performances are compelling. It's a nonstop, fun, thrilling heist film. I loved it from beginning to end.
Yeah.
I agree. I do say one other thing that kind of ruined it for me a little bit is when you pointed out to me that the guy in this movie was the same guy from A Fault in Our Stars.
I never saw that, so
good.
Didn't bother me.
I was like the only guy like, fuck this piece of shit movie. And then you're like, hey, that's a Guslick. Wait, oh! Damn it! Fucking hell. So smug and happy about it too. I thought that'd make you happy.
Not as happy as some of the other things I can remind you of.
Okay, like what? Do not even mention his name. I know what you're thinking of. Don't you fucking say it. Because I forget. I block out his name every time. I forget who it is.
You're bad with names in general.
I know, but this one I deliberately block out of my memory for my own protection. Because it is the Jar Jar of this generation.
There's a certain character from Percy Jackson he doesn't like.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Yeah, I know everyone remembers that. Every time he comes up, I get like horrible Vietnam-style flashbacks where I might as well be Martin Sheen at the beginning of Apocalypse Now, just breaking mirrors and shit.
You mean Platoon, right?
Yeah.
No, I'm talking Apocalypse Now.
Okay.
Oh man, I need to watch it's probably in the Boo 2 review where I found like the other thing that triggered you, and I'm trying to remember which one that was.
I probably blocked from my memory too. But anyway, so no, Baby Driver, I do agree. It is a masterfully crafted film from beginning to end. I love
so much fun.
The actors are having so much fun. Jamie Foxx is great. Kevin Spacey.
John Hamm is great.
That's what I was going to talk about. John Hamm. John Hamm is amazing. This might be my favorite like John Hamm performances outside of Mad Men.
Also, one of the best villain performances in movies this past year.
Not quite. We'll get to some of my more favorite ones later on. But anyway, you had something to say?
I was saying also, one thing I didn't realize is that Paul Williams was in that movie.
Who was Paul Williams? Which one was Paul Williams?
He was the gun runner. The old guy.
Oh.
And also Flea from Red Hot Chili Peppers was in it at the very beginning. So that was kind of cool.
But no, it's so carefully crafted and it's so carefully executed, and it's an Edgar Wright film. You know, they're shined to a bright sheen every time he makes a movie, and that's why they were such a treat. And again, I feel bad this movie is overshadowed by the Kevin Spacey bullshit.
That is an unfortunate side effect.
With like right up there with like all the money in the world. Which I'm not gonna lie, I found that movie incredibly boring.
I'm still laughing after that happened. I was like, he's being replaced, and then we saw the whole trailer.
Yeah, I think that's like the one thing I remember from that movie. Like a year from now, I was like, all I remember is like the most uncomfortable trailer setting I've ever had.
Yeah,
As in,
and
like,
starring redacted. Then you just put a black bar over Kevin Spacey's face.
It's like Kevin Spacey and you hear everyone's go, ooh.
I think I just laughed.
Like for me, I was like, I am so uncomfortable.
It's like, loser!
It's like looking at the old Spider-Man posters after 9/11.
Dude, no, I can tell you some really messed up jokes about him.
I'm sure you could.
No, one was from Chappelle.
What was it?
Oh, he was talking about the whole thing, and it was like, is it wrong that the thing that I thought most was, couldn't he have waited 6 months, and then I know how House of Cards would have ended?
Oh.
That's like, jeez.
That makes me sad about House of Cards now.
Yeah. It's like, so
Makes
what's
me glad that I never got into that show.
Yeah, they're just gonna, so apparently, they're just gonna kill him off. And like, it's just gonna, he's gonna be dead off screen.
Oh, man.
It's like,
He fell down an elevator shaft.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be the first time that's been done.
Yeah, that's where getting the shaft comes from, I know.
Yep.
And so yeah, Baby Driver.
Oh God.
What?
Wow, Grant. Wow. You are a horrible person.
What?
Getting the shaft, Kevin Spacey.
Ew.
Yeah.
I was like, well, it's about time he got it in return.
Oh!
He probably wants it in return.
Dude, you're already getting demonetized. Don't make it worse.
Hey, that means we can be as loud as we want.
Point taken.
Yeah. What's that? We can swear at the beginning. Fuck, fuckity, fuck, fuck, fuck.
Nothing stopped us anyway.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
On that note, thank you so much to the Twitter community who's already given us 20 subscribers over the last day.
Yay!
Yay. So,
Thank you, foot fetishists.
Anyway.
I still can't believe it.
Yeah,
No,
it happened in Goosebumps and in Happy Death Day, where we've got videos having huge spikes in views because we ended up on a playlist called Feet.
I was shocked when you
it's
told
like-
me that's a real thing.
And I remember Happy Death Day where it was like, it's because we waited, people got excited, and I was like,
Nope, Feet.
yeah.
It took me a long time for the data to finally release, and I could track down what playlist it was added to. It was like, oh man, that's a thing.
So the next review was just like, we just spray paint feet all over the wall.
Have like spoons in the room, like frames of feet in the background. Make it like a weird game of Where's Waldo. Find the feet. And yes, that's Baby Driver. So you're number 7.
My number 7, we're going to be a little bit of overlap and repetition. My number 7 is Lady Bird.
Okay. Say your piece.
So I got more out of this than you did.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because I know your issues with the mother character, but from my perspective and experience, it was a more realistic portrayal of
For I don't know,
of a mother-daughter relationship and
Yeah.
I still strongly disagree. If everyone thinks of it, it is not a healthy mother-daughter relationship.
I didn't say it was healthy. I said in my
Yeah.
experience, it is more realistic and typical.
Fair enough. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, I probably would have placed Lady Bird somewhere around there as well.
Yeah.
Because I agree. With some people I talk, it's like just remember even the mother-son dynamic is a little bit different, but it's like there are elements like, yep.
In the scene where the mother character talks to Lady Bird on her graduation day and tells her that she looks good, but she walked funny. My mom has given me.
Well, your mom is a whole nother topic of discussion.
Yes, but I could very much relate. I feel like the mother and Lady Bird communicate more openly than the majority of my personal experience, which was interesting, and I enjoyed the performances. I liked the pacing of the story. I almost kind of felt like I wanted to see more. I know it reached a natural conclusion, but it almost felt like I was watching.
It felt like the climax came too late, and that should have been like the middle of the story.
Yes, and in some ways, I kind of felt like I was watching I don't know, a short TV show or a documentary where I was just following these characters and getting lost in their lives, and I found it very engaging.
Yeah, it's like
And apparently, it's the director's. I'm sorry, I can't remember.
Greta Gerwig.
Thank you. Apparently, this is her directorial debut. So.
Yep.
Look at her.
Yeah, because I didn't realize that she was actually from Sacramento, so that's why she had kind of that.
Man, Sacramento got shat on this year. Like between this and Brad's Status, which is not on my list, but it was also a really good movie. Because
I kind of want to see if Jazz will come down and say something about it. No, she has some choice words too.
Because that was the one where like Ben Stiller came to Sacramento, and everyone of his friends who were more successful and bigger deals. They were like, really, Sacramento? Why? But yeah, sorry, was that all I had to say about it?
That's the majority.
I will say the girl who plays Lady Bird is definitely going places. Irish.
And also, you mean Brooklyn?
Brooklyn. Sorry, thank you. Not Irish.
Saoirse Ronan.
Yeah.
If between this and her performance in Brooklyn a few years ago, she's putting in some good work and making.
Came out last year, didn't it?
Good choices.
I think it was a couple of years ago, actually.
Okay, yeah. Also, she was in
2014, 2015.
Okay. Also, she was in Grand Budapest Hotel.
That's right. That was her in that movie, wasn't it?
Yep.
Huh. I don't know what to do with that information, but interesting.
And she was also in
Atonement, I think.
And The Way Back. So she's done a lot of great things. It's just she's been kind of under the radar.
Until recently, and that's thank God she's finally pulling herself out of that.
And
doing this probably assuming this gets nominated for an Oscar, which it probably will. It's probably like her second nomination.
Right.
After Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Second movie she's been in has like 99% of Rotten Tomato.
Yeah.
And I think it's well deserved.
All right. And my number 7 is Coco.
I didn't get around to seeing it. So.
Really? Oh, you missed a good one. Yeah, I mean, once you get past the frozen masturbation spooge,
which I missed.
I heard that apparently they had that.
Yeah, it got so widely everyone hated it. Except for the hardest of hardcore Frozen fans.
So 2 people.
I don't know. That thing's still insanely popular.
I mean, for that short.
Oh yeah, it's it has some fans, I guess, but everyone's like, why is this 20 goddamn minutes long?
Because it was a TV special that got ported into it.
You can fucking tell.
Yeah, I'm not kidding. It was literally meant to be shown on TV. But they were
and why show it before a movie?
Because they probably knew no one was going to watch it on TV.
And they could have picked, I don't know, Cars 3 to put that in front of.
Well, they knew no one was going to watch Cars 3.
So I was like, why put that in front of the good Pixar movie?
I can honestly say because I was working at a movie theater when Cars 3 was out.
Cars 3 sucked.
Kids and their parents saw that POS. And the kids threw their popcorn all over the. That pissed me off. Fuck Cars 3 because of that.
Cars. I guess Cars 3 was okay. It wasn't the worst thing. Granted, we saw that double feature with Despicable Me 3, and in comparison, Cars 3 wasn't the worst thing. So I'll take that for what you will.
That is a hell of a double feature.
Right?
I guess I heard Coco was good, and I figured from my observations, Coco and Lego Batman were the only 2 good mainstream animated films this past year.
Coco, I felt like had a lot more heart than Lego Batman did.
Sorry, no, you said mainstream.
Yes.
Never mind.
Yes.
I'm not going to finish my comment then, because there was another couple of ones for the people who did Secret of Kells, I think. Or was it Song of the Sea? Here we go. There was really good.
And,
was Song of the Sea coming out a couple years ago?
Yeah, but the guys who made that released a new one.
Oh, cool.
And I saw an independent animated film called Loving Vincent, but that didn't get a wide release, so I can't count that in the mainstream category.
Anyway, back to Coco though. Coco was another one of those Pixar movies where like after Pixar's last few movies, we're kind of like, where's this gonna go? Because like, are we gonna get Inside Out or Monsters University?
Which, to be fair, was decent.
Which was decent, like, but
that had a really good third act.
Like,
yes.
you can tell Monsters University only existed to lead up to that third act.
Yeah.
Hey,
just like Rogue One.
I still like Rogue One. Fuck you.
It's a fun NPC side quest.
As I said, it's decent, but when you get two meh acts followed by an amazing act,
I was there. Alan Tudyk and like the Jedi guy with his little buddy kept me through the more boring.
Oh yeah,
stuff.
Alan Tudyk was fucking amazing.
Yeah,
and I wanted more Donnie Yen. Are you kidding me? I'm blind.
Are you kidding? That's right. I was like, for those three kept me invested for those different times. But yeah, I do agree. Like the first two, the main and protagonists were Bella's dishwater.
What was the joke? Yeah. Cassian, whose most heroic thing is not shooting somebody.
It's not wrong. But anyway, so Coco. No, but that Coco was so in that regard going into the movie with that expectations, and again after sitting through 20 goddamn minutes of fucking Olaf.
Actually, I'm so glad I waited to see that movie then.
It was Olaf's Frozen Adventure from the
fuck
Pixar.
Olaf. Fuck him with his stupid carrot nose. Which, man, talking about a brown nose.
I just realized fuck Olaf can also be a pun. Instead of just saying fuck off, it's fuck Olaf.
Moving on. Coco.
I missed you too.
So, I just realized we haven't done this since like year one of this show. Like way back in season 1.
Yeah.
That's kind of nice. But anyway, so yeah. Coco, for the love of God. I'm going to talk about this fucking movie. But no, like, I was like, I mean, I did have some trepidations with the third act, but I think I've softened to a bit as time's gone by. Mostly because I kind of had I guess I kind of came with a version that I thought would have been better in my opinion.
Right.
Without giving away spoilers, because you should absolutely go see Coco. It's definitely one that, like,
I'll probably redbox it.
It's a damn good Pixar movie. It's got a lot of heart. The animation is absolutely amazing. The use of colors and culture and like the
music,
the Death Panther, or Death Puma. That's what we called it.
Yeah.
The Death Puma was so amazing. You know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah. Like the puma with the horns and the wings and it breathes fire and shit. It was amazing.
Sounds badass.
And the characters were great. The music was great. I love the way they respected the culture and that they actually released in Spanish, which I thought was really, really cool.
And also that fucking ending.
Yeah, and the ending, which again, that was another tearjerker ending. Like it's just a great movie, and it's definitely like. It's right up there with some of Pixar's best, in my opinion.
Because, I will admit, the ending, that is a case why in the case of Get Out, I will say I disagree with the whole predictable aspect, because that pretty much went the route you'd expect it to.
What, Get Out or this movie?
Coco.
Okay, yeah.
But, holy hell did it do it well.
It did, and that's why, originally I was a little critical about it, because they kind of do, the surprise reveal thing towards the end.
Yeah, I saw that coming.
Yeah, that, it's not hard to figure out.
You know the direction it's going, but it's a fun ride.
It's still a fun ride, and, there's some goddamn, not even just the end, the very, very end scene, there are some goddamn heartbreaking scenes even before then, and just how, that one scene with the guy in the hammock, which I'll leave it at that, was a fucking great scene.
Yeah, because, that ending's, there's a Simpson quote I use, because, there are a lot of things where I don't cry that everyone else did. Logan!
I didn't cry either.
Me neither.
A lot of other people did.
We saw that with our buddy Mike, and he was crying, and we were kind of looking over here and well, really?
Yeah. But I remember, it's there's this one Simpson quote that I use, I guess, I did not cry when they hung me father for stealing a pig, but I cry now!
But no, especially scenes where there's dancing, and they're evangel the fact that granted it's not the funniest Pixar movie in the world because there's a lot of just the fact that there's skeleton jokes in there.
Yeah.
Which I was like, okay, I've seen that a lot. But like just sometimes like when they're even like the scene where they're on stage and they're singing music together and like they're kind of doing like these cool dance moves and really taking advantage of this world they're in. Like, oh, it's such a blast to watch. It just got a lot of great heart. It's easily the best animated movie film this year.
And it will probably win the Oscar for that category.
It's fucking better. It better not go to fucking Boss Baby.
Oh!
I did not bother seeing that. I saw the honest trailer. That's enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. You motherfuckers didn't have to sit through that weird mind fuck.
Oh, they showed all that weird mind fuck.
No, it didn't.
No, it's like they show the condensed. It's like, oh, I don't think I want to know.
You don't like that was a taste of just the reality bending nonsense.
Yeah.
That
was pot. This movie was LSD.
Essentially, I felt fucking high watching that movie, where it's like, I don't know what's real!
It's like, I just showed Jasmine the Captain Underpants movie. It's kind of like the bit where it's like, we need to save them, but there's sugar. We made a bad choice!
I remember the one line of Captain Underpants that still made me laugh. It's just more like, what was that line about marriage?
I don't know, and I missed it. It was like, wait, where was it? No!
Because there was a line where it said like, why are they so happy? It's, because they're falling in love. You wouldn't know your parents are married. Or something to that extent.
That's what it was.
That's something dark for a kids movie.
Oh, they got.
It's like one of the few, like the only Kevin Hart role I actually liked him in, because again, it's one of those actors I can't stand unless they're doing voice work.
Yeah, so like with that and surprisingly, Secret Life of Pets.
Yeah, again, voice work, because I couldn't fucking stand him in Jumanji 2, which movie I actually thought was okay.
I heard that was surprisingly a good movie.
It's better than it has any right to. I wouldn't call it a good movie, but it's more like, okay, I got a few good laughs out of it.
Yeah.
Jack Black is way better than I expected him to be, quite frankly. Because he still plays the woman, he plays it so earnestly, and without that self-awareness that Jack Black usually plays his roles in.
I would say he played a woman that Rob Schneider wishes he could.
And you know it because there's this dumb pissing joke that happens in there, but he sells it so honestly that it's kind of amazing. Because there's one like, alright, gotta take a leak. He's like, I've been enjoying this moment, but I do too. And it's like, can you guys show me how? So it just cuts to like being around rocks, and he goes like, oh my god, this is so much easier. Because you got like a little handle. You're like, I'm doing it! Bethany, come look at my penis!
Okay.
Jeez.
Because it's not playing with like Jack. My problem with like live comedians, they always act like they know they're saying a funny thing, but this is the case where like, no, he's genuinely owning this scene, this dumbass scene. He totally sells it, but that's like the funniest joke in Jumanji 2.
Okay, all right.
Anyway, so that was Coco. So you're number 6, Sarah.
3 Billboards Outside, Missouri.
God, I want to see that fucking movie!
Really, that low?
Yeah, so it's a very intense movie.
That it is.
And
you really need to see that one though.
I'm a huge fan of that, of the writer-director.
And I'm a sucker for story resolution and a happy ending. And spoiler alert.
I have not seen the movie.
Yeah.
That is one I do not want spoilers for.
Okay. Let's just say that
it ends ambiguously.
Yes.
Okay.
It ends ambiguously, and it's a very intense watch, and while the performances are top-notch, and I appreciate the bits of dark humor and world building throughout, I don't know if this is one that I am going to seek multiple repeated watches of.
I'm definitely going to watch this again when it comes out on Blu-ray. Yeah. There are other movies on my list that I definitely want to add to my personal movie collection, but I don't know if I have the psychological wherewithal to have repeated viewings of this, which is why it's lower for me. Fair enough. All right, we'll talk about it again later on because it's on my list.
Yeah, I'm I'm guessing as to where it is
Well, we'll get there when we get there.
for you. But yeah, I'm glad Sam Rockwell is finally getting some.
Yes, thank
attention.
God. Sam Rockwell is amazing in that movie.
And who
Without giving anything away.
and who would have thought that it's one of his less likable characters that he gets attention for.
I mean, unless you're counting, Justin Hammer, which is like one Sam Rockwell performance I really wish you'd shut the fuck up at.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we'll talk more about that later. Do you have anything else you want to say about that before we move on?
Yeah, I hope that he and Frances McDormand get Oscar nominations.
They're gone, I think, at this point. It's won enough Golden Globes.
Well, we'll find out in 2 days when the nominations are announced.
Which is gonna be that just dated this video because I gotta get this out like tonight.
Sorry.
It's okay. My number 6, Grant. This is something you and I can talk about. Disaster Artist.
Yay.
That would have been an honorable mention for.
I really enjoyed the Disaster Artist.
I enjoyed it more than I thought I was going to.
Me too.
I knew I was gonna fucking love that movie.
Yeah, and I love it. It's definitely an ode to filmmakers. I think in general, in a good and bad sense.
Yeah.
And I heard the book it's based on is really, really good too. One of these days I want to actually sit down and read it. But no, that one definitely has a disappearing role for James Franco, which is refreshing to see. Another now controversial person to talk about.
Apparently.
Although those are allegations that actually confirmed, like Kevin Spacey.
Wait, what?
You haven't heard about that?
Depends.
There's some now allegations come about James Franco as far as like sexual.
Harassment?
Yeah. Sexual allegations.
Because I remember I heard about the one thing with the underage girl who apparently lied to him, but I don't know.
There's like 5 women have come out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, then that's all new.
Yeah, so it's definitely more than one at this point.
Yeah.
Uh,
At this point, everyone's just getting...
Yeah,
It's
you know what?
Stan
Good.
Stan Lee.
Well, that was proven to be bullshit.
Oh, okay.
Because that was like Daily Mail, the maid service that they pointed out there said like we never received any complaints. This is total bullshit.
Yeah.
So that one I don't believe.
Okay, well, that's good.
Because Daily Mail is notoriously tabloid bullshit.
Yeah, no, they are.
Yeah. But like it's released a statement and the Stanley Foundation like actively fighting against it, like no, this is horseshit.
Because I know there's some. Most of it, there's some I believe, some I don't. Most is just like wait and see.
Yeah.
Like one of the ones I like, Harvey Weinstein. You can't.
Yeah.
That is true. That he's like,
there's no way it's not.
Yeah.
It's like Bill Cosby.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
One of the ones I don't believe are George Takei.
I don't believe.
Well, because he was accused of
like
gulping a mail bomb or something
1981.
like that.
Yeah. That one I don't really. That one of
Yeah.
the Stanley ones I don't really believe either.
Yeah. I'm thinking most likely if Takei did that, he was probably drunk at some party or something.
Which doesn't necessarily forgive the action.
But that would explain why, if it did happen, he wouldn't remember it.
Yeah, and the culture back then was very like keep it in the closet at the time.
And also,
and a lot of people were high on cocaine.
That
Yep.
too. Yep.
and ecstasy.
Okay.
Not that we're defending the action any way, shape, or form. But
Yeah.
No.
Anyway. But yeah, so James Franco's great.
Dave Franco's great.
I love Dave Franco. I think Dave Franco's a very underrated actor.
Yes.
Come on, I still need to show you 127 hours also.
I know.
I have that on DVD.
I have a hard time since because again I just hate that little weasel. I'm sorry. I know you like Moke, but I've seen him in so many shitty movies where he's the worst part of it, and I hate him for that.
Yeah.
Because This Is the End, The Interview. I haven't seen Pineapple Express, but
which one?
Pineapple Express.
That was fun.
It's really comedies. I don't like him.
Yeah, it's like he was fine. It's just he's doing the whole Adam Sandler thing. It's like, hey, I'm with my buddy. Let's have a fun time.
Hey, I'm being wacky comedy.
Yeah. The problem is, what's a fun?
I'm doing a silly voice.
Well, thankfully, he doesn't go that far.
Thank God, no.
Yeah, because the problem is,
he's not there yet.
But honestly, what's a fun time for these actors? It's just buddies getting together, just shooting the shit. Not always a fun time for us.
God no. God no. The interview can go fuck itself.
I am glad glad that movie did not get banned, or they finally decided to re-release
I'm glad
it.
it was released, but I'm not glad I had to sit through
Yeah,
it.
it's like
It actually played at the Independent Theater in my home county.
Now I have to, like, the problem is that just solidified a shitty movie in cinematic history.
Yeah, it's like the movie should not have been banned. It just shouldn't have been made.
Yeah. So I went into this movie with a lot of just heavy skepticism, going like, how is this gonna go? And thankfully, James Franco was definitely up for the part, and you can tell he's been wanting to do this for a long time.
I actually believe that he was Tommy Wiseau. I didn't see James Franco, which is ideally what an actor is supposed to do, is transform into their character.
Yeah, exactly.
The funny thing is, my Jasmine's uncle actually worked with him on a short.
Yeah, I've seen videos of people talking about this movie. People actually met and have had interactions.
Yeah.
Like, it is scary how close to real life this is.
No, the way that basically my now uncle described it, he is like, it's like, oh god, it's all true. The showing up late, the forgetting lines, I'm getting flashbacks.
And apparently the two real life people are still pretty good friends somehow. I don't really know.
Supposedly someone told me that a lot of the elements of that book was kind of BS, and that for example, they're supposedly not on speaking terms, but we saw footage of them together.
No, they still talk.
Yeah.
I think it was Doug Walker had a video about that where he said he's actually had to talk him down from several lawsuits and stuff in the past. So they still talk pretty regularly.
Okay. That's cool.
So that part's actually true.
Yeah. That's what I was wondering. I figured it was.
Yeah, so that part's actually true. But now, it's just one of those fascinating movies. Again, it's because you watch The Room and you're thinking what were the decisions that were made here? And now we know.
And it's surprisingly touching and surprisingly has a very positive moral and message.
Yeah. Maybe that goes as you intended, but that doesn't make them mean they're worthless.
Yeah.
They still have merit in their own right, even though it's just far from what you originally wanted it to be.
I know that feeling.
Yeah, me too.
Certain someone who trashed some of our stuff. Well, that one kind of pat.
Wait, which one?
Oh, you know who we're talking about. A certain guy that was shitting all over us.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know who that is.
Yeah. It's apparently my thing one of the things I made had a bit of an underground thing with the radio department, so thank you. Prove the point.
Look at you. I mean, that was a bad day.
Yeah.
So that's my number 6. Sarah's number 5.
Sorry, I turned my iPod off to
How dare you!
Save battery, I know.
How dare you try to preserve your battery life?
So, there we go. Number 5 is Dunkirk.
It's not on my list.
It was on mine.
Okay. I really like Dunkirk, and I kind of I lumped it together with for The Darkest Hour, whereas they're both really good movies, and they're just not my favorites.
Well, I didn't see the Darkest Hour. I heard that it could be a good companion film.
Absolutely.
To Dunkirk. But
it's about the same conflict. It's just on the other side of the table.
I actually saw earlier in the year an independent film about Winston Churchill during World War II. So, which was called Churchill.
I just really want Colin Firth to play Kane in The Darkest Hour. I was really disappointed he wasn't. Sorry,
yes.
Continue.
So I kind of got my fill of Winston Churchill movies with that particular one,
Fair enough.
But if this movie is not nominated for the technical sound,
the sound design for sure.
Awards, best sound design, best sound mixing, best sound editing, best score. If it's not nominated for at least a few of those, I am going to be shocked.
Or I wouldn't say that.
Well,
I think the score did what it needed to do.
Yes, it was riveting, and I think Nolan and Zimmer always make a great team.
Yeah.
And when they did the ticking sound was
that was I agree on mixing and editing. That stuff was fucking awesome.
It was amazing, and when it started, I wasn't quite sure if I was going to like it because it's almost a silent movie.
Yeah, that part always makes me laugh. So it's like I want to bet so much that this started out as a bet to Christopher Nolan, or like just an angry response to every criticism he's got for every movie he's ever made. Or like he just
your dialogue's too on the nose.
Too on the nose, like I'll fucking tell you. Tell you airplane doesn't say shit. You know what?
Yeah.
The character you start with doesn't say a goddamn word for 3/4 of the movie, motherfuckers.
Yeah. I'll tell you by not telling you.
You want visual storytelling? You're fucking visual storytelling.
But cool thing is, I actually was able to see that movie like in 70mm IMAX.
Nice.
I know, like when they did the re-release, like yes, I can put it on the list, which didn't really happen, but
it's okay.
I can still talk about it. But
as I can still talk about most things at this point.
Hell, if you see it with that format,
I'm sure
like
it's stunning.
It was the 1.4 by 1, where the way you're able to take everything in. It enhances the movie so much. It's like the way you're able to see everything the way it's meant to be seen. It really enhances that sense of scale, and holy fuck, the sound. You said.
Yes.
I know me and Karina saw that at 10 in the morning in the theater in Mountain View, and we're like, all right, we're a little sleepy, we'll just sit this, and all of a sudden, like 2 hours later,
Yes.
I'm awake.
I don't need caffeine.
It kind of reminded me of when I saw Speed for the first time, in the sense that my heart and adrenaline were pumping from beginning to end. It was so invigorating and enthralling and intense, and I really liked seeing the battle or the conflict from multiple points of view, from land, from air, from sea, and my God, I think this is probably, in my opinion, the best sounding movie of the year.
I also love the way that they showed the narrative, the whole kind of like the way it like almost did like a bouncing ball effect.
Which took you a while to figure out what's going on there.
But it was enthralling, and I am impressed that it kept my interest for having so little dialogue.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm gonna try to go a little faster just so we have time to do the worst list before I drop you off.
Okay.
And then, so, is that all you have to say for your number 5?
Yes.
Okay, my number 5 is The Shape of Water.
I still want to see that.
Alright, so I'm not gonna...
That's my number 4, actually.
Okay, cool, so we knocked that out of the way now.
Yay!
That saves some time. So
Yes.
yeah, The Shape of Water is a beautiful film.
Yes.
Beyond a doubt. That being said, it is very hard, and they released this information before the movie came out, so it's not necessarily a spoiler. We did make a lot of fish dick jokes.
That was like 2/3 of your review was penis jokes.
It's so easy to make.
I know, and at first it was kind of funny. But
I know.
There were other aspects that I was hoping you would talk about.
Yeah, because I mentioned there wasn't much else stuff for me to add that I didn't say in the review. In my opinion, so I just left fish dick jokes.
Damn you, South Park.
Yeah, that joke was made too. No, it is the practical effects were fantastic. The acting's great. It is a great movie about outsiders. I love Michael Shannon, so that was fun for me.
Michael Screaming Shannon is always a good thing.
Michael Screaming goddamn Shannon, yes.
It's a great period piece. Like you said, great acting. It's in a weird way a love letter to old Hollywood, where there's a Ginger Rogers style dance number with the creature from the Black Lagoon, which warmed my heart, being a cinephile.
We love you, Ape Sapien.
It's like, and then of course there's
top-notch cast.
Top-notch cast. I'm still just thinking of the way they describe the fish being. It still makes me laugh to this day. I know it's so immature. It is incredibly immature. It's a gorgeous film. It is the most fascinating aspect to me.
Is that the only thing about this movie you're going to remember?
It's gonna be one of the big ones. No pun intended.
Oh.
Because she does like a motion to describe it. I'm not gonna give it away until you see it, but it's amazing.
Well, her character is amazing.
I know that. I know that.
Yeah. So what's the motion?
Not quite.
It's more just think of a happy clam. Because they bone twice in the movie, so...
That we see.
2 times? That's a huge spoiler! No pun intended. Was it a spoiler for her?
I don't remember the name of the actor who played her friend and roommate, but
Octavia Spencer?
no, that's her coworker.
Ah.
But he also
Oh, the old guy.
yes
Yeah.
he also put in a really good
Oh, no, he's great.
performance.
I think it's the joke we made in there, like, you know, from his perspective, his entire movie is a horrible tragedy. Without giving anything away.
Yeah, but he was very supportive of his friends.
He was supportive, but again, just switched the perspective and just...
Yeah.
Yeah, again, without giving anything away.
Don't check, because I know I've seen him before.
I think he did a few supporting roles this past year.
Yeah, he's done quite a few things.
Richard Jenkins?
Yes.
Yeah, he's really good.
Oh, Michael Stuhlbarg's in this too. I actually met him. He was a really nice guy.
Oh, cool.
Anywho, so, yeah, Shipwater, great movie. When Guillermo del Toro's best in a long time.
It's
And even though I like Pacific Rim, which I could say now that Howard's not here. Don't ever mention Pacific Rim in front of Howard, just FYI.
noted.
Yeah.
I've
I've had my talks with him. I had to... Sorry, it's just... Let me put it this way. He thought that one of the main things he hates are things that couldn't really be helped, like Idris Elba's accent, which he thought was fake. And I was like, oh no, that's his real accent. Wait, what?
he actually does an American accent in Molly's Game.
That's sadly one we didn't get a chance to go see.
Yeah, I saw it on my own.
But anyway, so that's...
But Guillermo del Toro made a beautiful period piece science fiction fairy tale, and I loved it.
Alright. My number 4, since you already covered your number 4 too. My number 4 is The Big Sick.
Okay.
Oh, that was such a good movie.
You saw that finally?
Yes.
Okay. You saw that one, didn't you?
Because it's on Amazon right now.
I'll chime in a little bit later.
Fair enough. The Big Sick is that one is just, it's hilarious. The acting is amazing. The way the story is written is fantastic. There is very little not to love about the movie, in my opinion. The only reason it's not higher is just because I just think they're just better. Like, this is the point where like every movie after this, in my opinion, is a masterpiece, in my opinion. So we're at that stage. So this is like the learning. Like, I think it's easily one of the best romantic comedies I've seen in a very, very long time. Probably since Silver Linings Playbook, I'd say. Everyone is like, Ray Romano is in top form in this.
So is Holly Hunter.
Holly Hunter's fantastic too. It has some like the best jokes that me and Howard still quote to this day.
Yeah. It had some other comedians in there that did not expect to see, like Bo Burnham and was it Chris no, not Chris. Something Braunohler, the guy who plays his roommate Chris.
Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about. But yeah, Camille has like just some hilarious jokes. The way he talks about culture and kind of gives you an idea how Pakistani culture, which is a real thing. I found this out like afterwards.
Oh yeah, no, it's like Indian culture is very similar as well. Well, depending on which parts of India, like specifically since Jasmine's family from Punjab, which is like split, which is like borders Pakistan, because it actually was basically like cut in half.
Because it's just as much a cultural story as it is a romantic story in this case, which makes it like all the more fascinating. They really dive into like the family dynamics of that in a very, very fascinating way, and still funny, and still earnest, and still heartfelt way.
It definitely helps that this was based on Camille Nanjiani's and his wife Emily's.
Exactly, and that definitely helps. That definitely helps. Like, that's why I think it's why I feel so honest and feel so earnest. Is because it is based on real life events, although they took some liberties, of course.
Yeah.
For storytelling purposes.
Well, yeah. I mean, like, I think one of my favorite ones is when his wife described like, oh no, like when she turns down like the written note thing, like that's what I wish I did. Because he was like, what's your name? And he goes, this and this is like, this is your name in what was it, Hindi or whatever?
Urdu.
Urdu, thank you. And he said like, and I said like, does that work in all the girls? Like, that's what I said in the movie. In real life, I totally fell for that.
I I actually watched.
So like this is my redemption.
I actually watched interviews of the two of them when they were promoting the movie, and they have great chemistry and bounce off each other's.
Oh, the actors in this movie, and like again, one obviously helps it's a real life person. Yeah, they have amazing chemistry.
They do.
Like some of the best chemistry I've seen in film in years. Just the way they bounce off each other, the way they naturally work with each other. It's genuinely kind of an intoxicating romance for the first part of the movie until shit happens, and then it's just really enjoyable. It feels like one of those very satisfying journeys from beginning to end, and it's one of those ones I'll still put on every now and again just if I want to feel good. Well, bad and then good again. Yeah, that's the big sick. So what are we on? Number 3.
Get Out.
Okay, you go.
So again, sorry for the overlap and repetition.
Happens every year.
But easily the smartest horror film that I've seen.
I always found calling it a horror film was almost kind of a misnomer.
It scared me. It was suspenseful. It made me think. It made me feel guilty for having lighter skin pigmentation.
Oh, I straight up told Ron, like, after the movie was over, I was like, alright, I'm white and I don't trust white people after seeing this movie.
Even though half of my ancestry is Jewish, so I should only feel half guilty, because it's, ironically, my mother's side that I feel ashamed of.
So blame your mom. Blame the other generation. That's the first go-to for white people. If it's not somebody else's fault, you're not thinking of the right person to blame.
I rewatched it recently with the...
Sorry, no, they're minority in my horror film. Even the authorities.
Still wondering how the fuck that movie got nominated for Best Comedy at the Golden Globes.
Idiots.
Agreed.
Yeah. It's like
that time with the gaming awards when they had to and the winner is My Dragon Cancer. That actually happened.
Wow.
That was the name of the game, but it's also a deeply dark and depressing real life story about how a man legitimately lost his infant son to cancer.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's heartbreaking. So it's like, I feel like you guys aren't giving this the proper respect.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and applaud.
And because I'm like, immediately after that, the actual creator of the game, who's the father of the child that died, gave this heartbreaking speech where he cried in the end of it. And so, looking back, game industry, we need to do better. Anyway, sorry, continue.
It's he was like, yay!
Do I clap? Do I not clap? Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
And I recently rewatched it with Jordan Peele's commentary track, and for a directorial debut, I am incredibly impressed. This is a level of quality that I would have expected from a seasoned veteran director.
Yeah, he knew exactly what he was doing.
Yeah.
And every element from the lighting to the acting to the musical score, everything is perfectly orchestrated. Mm-hmm. It is incredible, and I think it deserves to be one of those movies that film students discuss and analyze for years to come.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, it's definitely. I think Ron really kind of nailed it. It's we're not going to get a movie again like this again for a long, long time, if ever. Mm-hmm. Oh, go ahead. You have a bad joke in your mind.
No, it's not a bad joke. It's a funny story. I was showing this to someone because I'm trying to do a short film, and I was watching the opening for reference jokes. It's such a great long take.
Yes.
Yeah.
At one point, when the guy gets abducted, this girl who was next to me just screams out and punches me in the arm. She's like, ah!
What a reflex that is! Fear punch.
It's like, why would your arm just go like that?
I want a punch person immediately adjacent to me.
And remember when we were rewatching the scene, I was like, my buddies in the room, it's just like, stand here.
God. So, anything else on Get Out? Or?
That's the majority of it. If you want a smart, well-orchestrated thriller that will make you think about modern racial politics, see this movie. If you love scary movies or cinema in general, see this movie.
Yeah, it's great fun.
Yeah, on that topic, I do also want to say, like, I love little subtleties in there, like the whole...
Yeah. Great
like,
world building, too.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like, even just like the choices that they make in terms of the set designs and all that.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
the
Oh,
actual
yes.
things,
Everything
like,
feels deliberate.
Like,
You want to
When
talk, are you talking about the cereal thing?
yes.
Okay. Yeah.
And I remember, unfortunately, I got that part kind of spoiled, but I didn't realize, like, is this a purposeful thing, or, like...
Actually, I think Jordan Peele made a video recently talking about, like, kind of going over the fan myths and figuring which ones are real, which ones are complete bullshit.
Yeah.
I think he mentioned that one. Didn't he say that one was kind of not the case? Or
God, that would have been hella smart if that was the case.
yeah, I don't know. I've rewatched that video, but I'm sure somebody
Yeah.
can confirm for you in the comments.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
Get Out. My number 3.
My number 3 is War for the Planet of the Apes.
I really need to see.
That one, this is a case where it goes, this is even a trilogy of reboots that should not have worked on any level.
Yeah.
And
there's a good James Franco movie. Even if
he's not the best, like in the first one,
Yeah.
then they killed him off screen.
Yeah. And to be fair, he did doom humanity.
He did, like, that's where it's like, humanity killed ourselves. Like, no, James Franco did. James Franco single-handedly responsible for the death of the world.
Yeah, it's like, go free! Don't
Dislike him for.
Yeah, exactly. Trust me, I already have that plan. I already have that in my mindset. But no, like, this is a movie, in my opinion, is, like, the closest movie we've had to another Apocalypse Now in at least a decade. Because the way it's so deliberately shot, and the way, obviously the CGI is absolutely incredible. Like, you believe these monkeys are there 100%. Like, you don't even question it at some point. Now, there is a comedic relief character that one of those kids, like, he's close to being Jar Jar-esque, but he's not, he barely squeaks past the tolerable. So, like, but that being, like, if that's a case that bothers you, I totally get it. But that being said, it does straight up turn into a Holocaust film in the second half. And with Woody Harrelson basically being what they originally wanted Marlon Brando to be as the Colonel in Apocalypse Now. And the way they work each other, the way it's all done and shot is so incredible. And it was also the case, I saw it twice in theaters because I liked it that much. And I had two very different audience experiences there. And to me, it was absolutely fascinating. And it kind of gave me hope for the future. Because the first time I saw it, there's this older guy next to me, probably like in his 40s, and then like after the movie was over, I'm like, damn, that was a really good film. And the guy was like, ugh, that was so boring. How hard is it to get monkeys and humans to fight each other? And I wanted to turn like, this is why we have 5 fucking Transformer movies. But
I still say my favorite one where we had a very different reaction.
What?
Chicken out of Gods of Egypt.
Pretty good, huh? But no, then I saw it again, and then when I saw that movie again, and there was this kid, like maybe like 14, 15 next to me, and he got super into it, like hardcore into the movie. Like the point where he was doing like, no, like doing that stuff. Like he's like the kid from Up watching this movie. Fix him up, Caesar! Kinda. Yeah, he was so into it. And I was kind of like, you give me hope for the future, not the old fuck who's gonna die in 20 years.
Baby boomers fucked us!
And both my parents are baby boomers.
Oh, sorry.
All of our parents are baby boomers! Yeah! Oh.
We're part of the problem.
Okay. I am loopy.
It's entertaining. So no, War of the Planet of the Apes I do think is a masterpiece of film. I think it's probably better than a lot of the original movies, honestly. And it definitely wraps there. It does feel like a conclusion. Like they should stop here. They should not make any more of these movies. And now that Disney owns Fox, they probably won't. So like, it's kind of a mixed blessing as far as that goes. But no, like as far as conclusions go, they play these movies when they just kept getting better with every new release, and this is my opinion. Like this is the peak. You cannot get better than this. Don't even try.
That's very rare for continuation films.
Exactly. And because they knew what they were doing, and they knew what they needed to do to make this work, and to make it unique, and to make it stand on its own as a deep character study, and again a lot of good social commentary, while still making it a blockbuster. It's a movie that showed that blockbusters don't need to be just kind of like dumb fun. You can make them really intense, in my opinion, Oscar-worthy movies, even though I know it's going to be completely ignored come Oscar season.
At least it got best special effects.
At least it got that, but I know it deserves
hope it does.
It deserves so much more than it's getting, and I think like that is a crime to me. It just shows like the bias against blockbuster movies.
Still not as big a crime as frickin' Suicide Squad winning an Oscar over Star Trek.
Yes. That upset me last
I know
night.
it's like I think I was telling Laura, like, you know what breaks my heart for the Golden Globes? I now have to say the Golden Globe nominated film Boss Baby.
Are you serious?
To be fair, as we said, they lost.
They did lose, but still, I have to say that now. It's kind of like the Oscar award-winning movie Suicide Squad.
For me, it's just like they called Get Out a comedy. They called The Martian a comedy.
No.
We do not take the Golden Globe seriously at all.
Yeah.
To quote Futurama, those are the Emmys of the Oscars.
Alright, so that's my number 3. Go ahead, Sarah. What's your number 2?
My number 2, in my opinion, vastly underrated, Blade Runner 2049.
That is also my number 2.
Oh, nice.
Yay!
So that makes that easy. No, Blade Runner 2049 is a masterpiece.
It is.
Like,
So when I came out of my theater, all I could think was, bravo, Monsieur Villeneuve. Well done, because this had a high mountain to climb.
Absolutely.
It's a sequel that was released about 30 years after the original. It's a different...
And name one of those that's been good aside from this.
Yes, exactly. It's a different director picking up the mantle. So Villeneuve had a fine tightrope to walk with continuing the story, but not changing it too much, not taking it over, not doing a complete revamp. But he hit the mark perfectly. He captured the color schemes, the look, the atmosphere, the sound, the moods. It is amazing. I rarely use the word perfect when it comes to sequels, but I think this is as close as to perfect of a sequel as we're ever going to get.
This movie...
I would agree, honestly.
This movie was definitely going to be in my top 10. I did have a couple issues with it. Like, namely the villain. Who just...
Oh, right, I honestly had trouble remembering the villain for a little while, so...
Yeah, case in point.
I think she was entertaining.
No, I'm talking about Jared Leto.
Oh, Jared Leto was fine.
What is the point of him?
He wasn't in it that much.
I mean, Jared Leto's kind of just a pretentious douche.
Pretty much. Typecasting.
That's the point. And that was one of the weaker elements. The idea is like, with the first movie, we had this thing where it's like, you had the morally ambiguous hero, and the villain wasn't really a villain, he just wanted to be human. And he just did some very fucked up things.
Well, you can argue this one wanted to create human, but just failed spectacularly at it.
Yes.
Except it's like, man, I'm making stuff for reasons. Okay,
you want
bye.
to be God.
And it's just, I don't know, but it's just... Thankfully, like I said, the movie is freaking fantastic. I love the character development.
The visuals, oh my god, they're
Like
stunning.
Like honestly, there's very little I can think of this movie that I would change.
Yeah.
Honestly, when I'm looking at it from beginning to end, because even like the villain is not great, but at the same time, like I also see his purpose in the grand scheme of things in the story. So it didn't really bother me too much.
Yeah, I think
it does start off a little slow, but once it gets.
I mean, like, that's Blade Runner, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's Blade Runner.
And I was fine with that. Like, it was a little slow, but, you know,
once
thankfully...
it gets going, it's worth it.
Yeah. I also saw that one in IMAX as well. That one looked...
Yeah, so did I. Yeah.
No, the legit one or the...
Man, not the legit one. I don't know if legit. But...
I wanted to, but there wasn't an IMAX theater available, and I just wanted to see it before it left the the theater because I knew not many people
Yeah.
were seeing it. It deserves your attention.
Yeah.
It sucks that this one was so underseen.
Yeah.
Much like
Yeah.
the first one.
But yeah, because the Mercado IMAX, it doesn't have the right format, and it's actually smaller than an IMAX is supposed to be.
Oh.
Like, the sound system is the same, but it's like, it doesn't... It's the way that it's set up isn't like true IMAX.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
Yeah.
But no, like, I think Blade Runner, I think, is as perfect a sequel as you can get.
Yes.
I think it... The direct, like, there's yet to be a movie this director has made in any of the years we've been doing this show where one of his movies has not made the top 10 list.
Yeah, no, he is a fantastic
Between
director.
Sicario and Arrival, and now this
I'm
movie.
looking forward to Dune.
Is he doing Dune?
Yeah.
Damn.
Oh wow, that will be interesting.
That'll be good.
Yeah, I'm just.
No, this is something this was literally the longest review we ever did was for this movie. Because that was me and Muha talking for an hour and 45 minutes.
I watched that. I loved this so much. I'm almost speechless. It just left me in awe. It's just so stunning, and I'm so impressed that he was able to write another chapter of Ridley Scott's world.
Mm-hmm.
Well, help that Ridley Scott was producing.
And probably better than what Ridley Scott would have written anyway.
Probably.
He directed Alien Covenant!
I didn't bother seeing that. No.
Not my worst list, but still awful.
Such a disappointing mess.
Yeah.
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
Like, it's not bad, it's just
That's pretty bad.
subpar.
It's pretty bad.
Is this one of those movies you hated more and more that you thought about it?
Right, kind of like Prometheus, honestly. Also known as Dude, don't touch that. Still love that joke.
Yeah.
I did see Prometheus.
Don't waste your time with Alien Covenant. But no, Blade Runner 2049, I think, is just the way it's written, the way it's shot. It's so deliberate, and like, yeah, there are slower moments in there, but again, I don't know what you would cut. Because no matter how slow it is, it still feels important. It still feels like it's adding something.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like anything's taken away. This felt like it was made exactly how the director wanted to make it.
Yeah.
And that's very rare for a movie like this nowadays.
It is
Yeah.
for.
Especially to refrain from using Woody Harrelson as much as they easily could have.
Yeah.
I think shows that like this is a case where like they're telling producers like, okay, you shush, you sit in your corner over there. We're gonna make our film over here, and we're gonna give you this little squeaky toy to play with, and you sit there and you shush. We're gonna make Hollywood films over here. So yeah,
it was astonishing and stunning, and I'm just so awestruck that he was able to make a perfect film, a sequel no less, decades after the original came out. It's a Herculean feat.
yep, I completely agree. So number one.
You all already talked about this. The Big Sick.
Okay, yeah, I had a feeling.
I guess I'm predictable.
Well, I mean, you said you were gonna bring it up before it hasn't been up at this point, so it's more a process of elimination.
Yeah.
I'm sure you already know what my number one is, so.
I
guessed it.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, continue. Big Sick. Go ahead.
I think this was the only film that I saw 3 times in the theater last year, and each time I saw it, I still enjoyed it as much. Like you said earlier, it's a feel-good film. The leads have great chemistry. I hope this gets nominated for Best Original Screenplay.
Oh, it will.
Because it definitely deserves more attention and praise. Emily V. Gordon, Camille's wife, lovingly described this movie as a rom-com.
Yeah. I see what she did there.
Yes. I experienced a full range of emotions. This movie warms my heart. It made me laugh and cry and think, and I love that it's positive. I appreciate the cultural significance, and I bought it on DVD
I got Blu-ray too.
as soon as it was on sale at Target. And I think this deserves to be one of the classic Hollywood rom-coms up there with When Harry Met Sally. It's just so good.
I can see that. Billy, I kind of like Camille better than
Billy Crystal.
Billy Crystal, honestly.
Fair enough, but I'm just
Yeah, I know what you're
just
saying.
using that as an example of the caliber
Fair enough.
of quality, and I just love this movie so much. It will make you feel good anytime you watch it. It's in my opinion, perfect rom-com. It's and the genre shouldn't detract from its quality as an overall film. It's just a great movie, and that's why it's my number one of 2017.
All right, my number one, if you haven't figured out already, Three Billboards from Ebbing, Missouri.
Called it. Right here.
Yeah. I fucking adore this movie.
Still, like I said, I still need to see that damn thing.
I know you do. You really do. It's back in theaters now.
Yeah, because like I said, I'm a huge fan of Martin McDonagh. Because between like his play Lieutenant Van Ishimore in his movies, In Bruges and Seven Psychopaths, it's like
both are great movies.
yeah, it's like
I've seen in Bruges. I haven't seen Seven Psychopaths yet.
That was a lot of fun. But yeah, this movie, this is honestly this is career defining a film for a few of the actors in this movie. Frances McDormand, I think, I think, in my opinion, easily one of the best roles she's ever done, if not the best role she's ever done. She's amazing from the beginning, and Sam Rockwell, oh my god!
Yes.
Again, without giving anything away, it's so fantastic in this movie. It's also the second movie on my list where that has Woody Harrelson in it.
right, because he's the sheriff, isn't he?
Yeah, he's the sheriff in there, and he's really good. But yeah, just there's a big part in the movie that's not in the trailers, and I'm not gonna give it away because when you see, you kind of go, oh. that kind of sets the tone for the rest of the film. Where like it's really funny. It's like I think me and Laura sat the first hour, it's just going, damn, for the first hour because we're the wit is so sharp and the script is so precisely written that
Irish.
For example, just one of the great lines in there, and again, there's a scene between her and a priest at one point, and we just kind of sat there
that was good.
in stunned silence, fuck, after it's over, and just some great little lines in there too, and this is in the trailer, so it's not giving anything away. When he's talking to Peter Dinklage. At one point, and then he goes back to his house, and we're son is I think the little guy wants to get in my pants, Father Montgomery. Which it starts out funny, then it gets immensely dark, and then it gets back to funny, and you feel so uncomfortable.
Yeah. I'm so conflicted.
Pretty much.
Another very delicate balancing act.
It is a very delicate balancing act, but it's done masterfully. It knows exactly what it's doing. And it's again, the actors absolutely 100% sell. This is an actor's movie at the end of the day.
And it's also an ensemble film.
It is an ensemble film, and you don't know where it's going. And even the ending, again, it kind of does leave it up in the air. You kind of make up your own ending towards the end of it. The character arcs are amazing. Again, without giving anything away. And again, just some of the lines are just so great. And it's don't say what, she's calling you a fuckhead, and stuff like that. And stuff like that. And it's so goddamn good. And I can see myself watching this at least once a year. It's to me, I just fell in love with this movie. I adored it from beginning to end. It's incredible. I do like dark humor, so I guess maybe it just worked better for me.
I like dark humor sparingly. I'm not saying that I didn't like it or didn't think that it was good. You just got a bit more out of it than I did.
Fair enough.
I agree with everything that you're saying. It is top-notch quality, and if this were to win Best Picture, I wouldn't be disappointed. I can only take dark, depressing stories so much because I go to stories to try to distract myself from the dark and depressing stuff of reality.
You go see dark and depressing films all the time.
Not all all of them are quite as intense as this one.
This is true. This is very. I mean, I guess that's why I like it though. That's a case where like I can get behind the intensity of it. I was along for the ride. Again, it definitely feels like, I think even though it's an ensemble film, it's definitely Frances McDormand's show, and she owns it from beginning to end, and so does Sam Rockwell. And I'm really glad to see that big recognition for it. So that is my number one. We'll be right back with the worst list, which I think if we do well, will be time out just perfectly, because of most of me talking for the first 10 minutes, 20 minutes or so, because I'm the only one that saw the most shitty movies.
Well, pretty much most of the movies I've reviewed with you last year were not good movies, so I intentionally avoided additional bad movies.
Yeah.
I know I'm going to be joining in with you on a couple.
Yeah, I know for sure which ones you're going to be joining me on.
So, stay tuned.
Yeah, so thank you guys for watching. See you in a little bit.
Bye.